We are a bunch of wild and crazy Cleveland Browns fans, bringing you all the latest in Browns news. Tune in now. Hey, it's the Fanatical Elves Network, Fanatical Elves Show.
Abrupt.
It was abrupt. Thursday night. There is Steve Gill. There is Sam Britton. We are live here on the day before the 4th of July, though I understand that there are lots of fireworks this evening in various communities across the globe. Are there any fireworks going on in your parts of the world tonight? Steve, how about you?
Probably when it gets dark.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my dog hates them. And because it's illegal to shoot fireworks off in this county, Davidson County, I'll let it slide on tomorrow night. But if one of my idiot neighbors wakes me up at 10 o'clock with a huge explosion, I'm calling the police. My dog can't take it, man. She's 13 years old. She's going to have a heart attack one of these years.
You just want to...
It's like a damn battle zone around here tomorrow night.
Well, my son Grant too, autistic, and the fireworks, like there were some that were being shot off earlier. We were at the pool locally, and he immediately was like, "Let's go, let's go." It's tough. It really is, especially for those people that have issues with sensory issues and pets,
animals, children, veterans with PTSD. Yeah, go downtown, watch the show tomorrow night. And if you don't want to go downtown, turn on one of the local channels and you'll watch it on TV. There you go. Boom. Fireworks. Enjoy. Too hot anyway. Why would anybody want to go to downtown Nashville on July 4th? It's going to be like 90 something degrees. All those people packed in, 400,000 people. It's going to be like, yeah.
Exactly. Sam, what are we doing there in Dallas tonight? Are there fireworks
going on? Well, you're not allowed to launch fireworks. I don't even know I think it might be a Texas-wide ban, though I may be incorrect about that. You're not allowed to do the big fireworks.
You're not in Texas?
I don't think so, but I heard something a few days ago that people are starting to loosen up on the laws, and you can start launching the big ones now. The ones that fly up and pop in the sky, not just little ones. I think like there are full scale stores, but I mean when we were driving to Colorado, Wyoming, I guess technically a year or two ago, you would be driving along the border and you would leave Texas and immediately you'd start seeing fireworks stores because we were leaving right around that time, and so you'd see them immediately pop up right as you. I think it was into the border of New Mexico, though. And so it's just pops up, and so there won't be any past the ones that you're authorized in a legal way to use.
Okay.
But yeah, so it'll be mostly just contained to the little ones. But if you are like choking them, but if you have something, man, but if you have something you're allowed to do it, then yeah, there will be some.
I was telling people on my show the other night on my Johnny Cleveland podcast about the fireworks in Kansas. I don't know if any of you took a listen to that, but Sam, what you were talking about, and they're legal they're legal there in Tennessee, correct? Obviously, Steve, because your dog will be up.
They are not legal in Davidson County to shoot off. That's this county, or to sell.
Okay.
If they are legal to sell in a county, you can only open your fireworks stand 2 weeks before the 4th of July.
Gotcha. So in Kansas,
just depends on the county.
Yeah, in Wichita, it's always been allowed, and so like the tents would go up, and people that I knew, relatives and friends, they would buy thousands and thousands of dollars worth of fireworks. And the best shows were just in your local neighborhoods and the cul-de-sacs. it was dangerous, but my God, it was spectacular. You'd get some of these people that would just, you could get your patio chairs and you would just see them shooting things off and all night. It was crazy. But then it scares, animals and kids and adults that have special needs. So it's a fine line, but I hope
Well,
your dog survives tonight, Steve.
me too, because she just goes crazy, and it's not healthy for her.
No. Well, thanks for joining us here on the Fanatical Elves Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. And it is July 3rd. We also want to give a shout out to Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. They shake the hand of the farmer. Check out our link on the X page. If you want to buy some great coffee, you'd be supporting our networking here. There are a lot of great podcasts across the globe that support the Brownies, and we appreciate your loyalty, you subscribing to us on Apple, on Spotify, going to YouTube. We need to get our YouTube subscriptions up, so please follow us on YouTube. That would be fantastic. So, the Brownies this week, the big news has been the dome that the state legislation passed their budget, and part of that budget was the $600 million addition to give to the Cleveland Browns to help with their new dome stadium. There's been a lot of divide amongst the fan base. Some who are very, I think gung ho about the stadium, but there's another group that's not happy about how the monies are being used, that the Haslams should be paying for all of this. They're billionaires. They should be paying for the entire project, the 2.4 billion project. But now the state has agreed to give them $600 million. There's also an extra 400 million that I'm hearing that's being more pigeonholed or toward the Bungles, the Cincinnati team,
Yep.
maybe other stadiums. And then there's an additional $700 million for other things that haven't been really disclosed. So I'm happy with it. We've talked about this in several weeks now. I think it's moving forward. There's so many positives looking at this project, but there's still that group of fans that are just adamantly upset and pissed off with the ownership. Where do you guys stand with that? Steve, I'll start with you.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a sign of the times. If there's any cost overruns, the Haslams will cover it.
I want to touch on
mean,
that too. Steve, can I just did you
yeah,
see the part in the when they came out with the legislation that it did say in there that the Haslams, and I don't know how many people pay attention to this or actually read the fine print, but the Haslams have
nobody
already
does.
agreed to pay money, privately funded money of theirs up front to cover in case something were to happen with all of what we're talking about, the 600 million, all this stuff. They've actually fronted
Yeah,
private funded money that no one is talking about, but it's in the documents. Go read the documents. And so that's where
yeah.
it really bothers me when people are out there talking about the Haslams being greedy and everything when they're fronting money privately, but no one's talking about that part. Steve, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And they put a bunch of money in escrow, their own money
Yes.
in escrow. So, and this unclaimed funds thing is just, how many people heard of this before now?
Hmm.
I guarantee you 80%, 85% never heard. What do you mean? Unclaimed funds? There's unclaimed funds? And, they take in so much money per year. I mean, last year they took in, like I said, 500 million and they doled out 149 million. So
Hmm.
they took in 2/3 of what they doled out.
Hmm.
So, plus, I think the money that's been in there, I think I read somewhere where it had to have been in the unclaimed funds account for over 10 years.
Hmm.
So this is money nobody's claimed for 10 years. I mean, come on.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm all for it. I mean, I saw on social media everybody complaining about the weather advantage. Well, I remember a game against the New Orleans Saints where it was 10 below and they kicked our ass.
That was 2 years ago.
So,
Yeah.
2 years ago, yeah. So there's no weather advantage.
Daryl
Come on.
Ryder or somebody
If
came
there
out
was
with
a
record.
weather
Yeah.
advantage, the Browns would be in the playoffs every year.
Well, we're very sub 500. I saw that record. Somebody put that
Yeah.
record together, and that's just crazy stuff. Yeah.
Crazy.
Where do you fall with that?
So you
with
get a
that-
new
yeah.
stadium. Somebody will figure out a way to make a tailgate zone, and everything will be fine. Anyway, it's going to be 2029, so you got plenty of time to clutch your pearls and cry about it.
Is that when we'll open it in 2029, not 2028, right?
Yeah, that's when the lease is up for the current stadium.
And so the first season that the Browns will play in that new dome will be 2029.
Should
Okay.
be.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
it looks gorgeous on all the artist rendering, and I can't wait to take a trip up and go to a
Oh
dome.
yes,
I mean, I can't wait.
it should be.
I've already been to a dome. Haha.
Well, and they're talking about
I
all
know
these
you
exclusive.
I've been to
first-
2 actually.
Wow.
The largest concourse,
I have two.
the largest concourse, which I
Yeah.
okay. Sam, where do you? I mean, have you been following along with all the new dome and the money that got given to the
A little bit, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think a dome. I think dome slash the LA kind of stadium with the half open air, half enclosed
Mhm.
idea is the future of the NFL stadiums. If anyone builds a new stadium, it's going to be that variation. And I think it makes sense. I mean, especially in hot weather states or very cold weather states where you have to deal with snow and like Kansas City. Now, Kansas City won't build a new stadium. However, Kansas City is that kind of weather where they get extremely cold and the dome kind of mitigates that. And so I think domes slash that open air kind of stadium is the future of
Yeah.
NFL and even possibly the future of baseball as well. If anyone builds a new baseball stadium, I know Oakland is one of them, but I mean, I think it's fine. I like the way the stadium looks. I like the way Tennessee's stadium looks. I like the way a lot of these new stadiums look. They're very sleek, very modern. I feel like they have great aspects. And I think the NFL has gotten big enough that we need to realize this is less of a sport and more of a culture at this point. And so I feel like in some of these stadiums that are from like the 40s, 50s, and 60s are too small now. They don't house the 200,000 people that are showing up on game day. And so I think new stadiums are definitely a great deal for the Browns, for Titans, for everyone really.
Raul, thank you for your comment. Maybe the lack of the jet stream will have. Well, I don't know about Watson. Now that's
He ain't gonna be playing.
Hopkins. Yeah.
I tell you this, Raw. You've seen
Jesus.
Raw. You've
Right.
seen the last of
Right.
Deshaun Watson.
Oh my gosh.
Raul.
I just that whole conversation, we can talk about Watson, but that's not a conversation we're going to get into tonight. I just I ask people about why those that are out there that really loathe the Haslams, and I've brought this up to you guys before, but when I asked them, like, why do you loathe them? Most people can't give you a straight answer. They just, they have money. Well, they have money, but they're giving their money to help promote this new product, this new thing, this new atmosphere, this state of the art stuff that we've never seen anything like. I talked about on my podcast too. Steve, you know this very well. I mean, when the Indians moved into the Jake in '95, and I don't know how often you've been to Jacobs Field when it initially opened, but I remember my experience. You've gone to that old municipal stadium all those years. When I walked in the Jacobs Field, Sam, it was like a religious experience. Like it was like nothing you've ever, like, for Cleveland fans, it was something out of this world. And it was like you just stood there like in awe. If you are a real big, sports fan and nut, you just appreciate, like, my God, this is beautiful. And that's where
the same thing kind of happens with the Cowboys now because of how just big the Cowboys are in Dallas. You'll look into the stadium or you'll look at it's a sellout every single week,
Yeah.
and it's just packed with people. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of people that are funneling into downtown Arlington to watch the Cowboys game. I mean, every parking lot is full. Every side of the street is full. It's just people are parking in like random laundromat parking lots that are charging like $15 a spot so you can go to the game. It's just crazy how much people watch and go to these games.
It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the league, how the rest of the AFC division, the AFC North looks at all this. I know listening to the guys in the Fans First and the Steel Curtain Network with the Jeff and all those guys, they were talking about it, about our dome earlier this week, and what they were thinking about as far as, do they like this? What do they think of it as? Cleveland's gonna be a dome. We were the first team in the division to have a dome, and does that make sense to them? And a lot of them were really struggling with that. Cleveland's a cold weather town. This is going to be hard to really understand. And I'm like, well, get used to it. I think it's something that I'm hoping fans in time will just really wrap their arms around and really try to appreciate it.
Well, domes are fun. I've been to the Superdome twice, see the Browns win both times. And I went to the old Georgia Dome.
Yeah.
Before the new Mercedes-Benz. That was a little bit of a little dumpy. But and the Browns won again. So I've been to 3 Browns games in domes, and I'm 3-0.
So you need to come to every home game starting in 2029.
Every home game in 2020, 29. Yeah. 99, I saw Timmy Couch throw that Hail Mary to Kevin Johnson.
I heard Ken Carman this morning in 92.3 talking about the Dog Pound and how, initially the Dog Pound had started at the old Municipal Stadium with Frank Minifield and Hanford Dixon. There was an actual section now in the current stadium that's called the Dog Pound, where people sit, and it's the new Dog Pound will be in that whole straight up. But Ken Carman was arguing this morning that he thinks it shouldn't be relegated to be called the Dog Pound until, not the fans, but until the Browns, the actual team, wins like playoff games. And they have to prove themselves over the next 5 years. Like, there should be some push. Like, if you don't win a playoff game or 2 or 3, then we're not calling it the Dog Pound. And putting it on the players. And I'm like, I don't know about that. That seems unrealistic. Anybody agree with Ken Carman's take?
When's training camp start again?
Yeah, we have too much time on our hands to think.
God,
by the way, thanks for chatting with us. If you're watching us
about them
live right now on anywhere, the X, YouTube, or Facebook, you can comment while we are live tonight. So thank you for commenting. Let's pause for a quick commercial break. This is the Fanatical Elves Network. We'll be right back. And we're back here on the Fanatical Elves show. It's a Thursday night. It's July 3rd. Fireworks are going to be going off shortly across many places, and especially tomorrow. Steve's worried about his 13-year-old dog, as we are about our dog, my son.
I know I'm going to lose sleep tomorrow night. I know my wife and I are going to be up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to put my clothes on, get in my car, drive to find out who's shooting them, and then report them, because I got to give them a street address. So, I just, come on, just lighten up. That's all I ask. Although my neighborhood has transitioned into a lot of young couples with babies. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow.
Let's talk training camp, going up to training camp, maybe the season. Saw some cool video of Shedeur throwing the ball around in Miami with a Browns helmet on and green shoes or something, which I thought was fascinating. How did he was he allowed to take the helmet with him down to Miami or what? It doesn't matter, but that was where my thought went, which is kind of stupid. But here he is throwing the ball around. People are talking about him. He's winning the popularity contest. I talked about this on my show earlier in the week. I know the popularity contest does not mean he will be the starter, but when you're talking about quarterback rankings, what I'd like to know from both of you, and Sam, let's start with you. Quarterback rankings going into the training camp. What do you think it's going to be, and then what would you like it to look like if it was just you, the fan, Sam, going then through training camp and into the season?
Sam
Well,
the fan.
Shadur would be a awesome story. I feel like I think if Shadur went off, had like a Bo Nix type season, brought us to the playoffs, even if we lost in the wild card, you've got that. Maybe this guy's the future of our team for the next 5 to 10 years. Um, I think that would be fun. He's on a very cheap deal considering quarterback deals. So, I mean, you get 3 or 4 years of him on cheap. You can do the Brock Purdy solution and just pump everything you have into a Super Bowl because you don't have to pay $1 billion for your quarterback to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be for a fan. I think that would be the best. I think for now, it's going to be Flacco, Pickett, and then Shadur, and then in the order of the two quarterbacks we drafted in terms of who got drafted first. But
Mm-hmm.
that could change very quickly into training camp
Mm-hmm.
because you could see one of them go really well. You could see one of them have a poor start. You could see
Mhm.
them have a poor start, a great ending, great
Yeah.
start, bad ending. You really don't know. And so I think training camp will give us a bit of a better idea as to who is doing well and who is having who might not be as good as we think/expect. Right? I think Shadur would
Mhm.
be the best for a fan. Would be the best story if he did well.
And that's where I've been there for a while now, but I know that doesn't win him the job. Steve, where are you at with like going in? What do you project it's going to look like? Or we don't know until we get there to training camp. But if you were to take a guess right now, a logical guess, and then also what would you, as a fan, what would interest you the most? Steve Gill.
Well, it's either going to be Flacco or Pickett.
Mhm.
They have no desire to start a rookie quarterback this year or play a rookie quarterback this year.
Mhm.
Um, they are putting a priority on being successful, so they're going to put about the best guy who can help them win. Now, if Pickett has more number one snaps going into
Mhm.
training camp, that could be twofold. Either
Mhm.
Stefanski believes he can win the job, or they're
Mhm.
shopping him
Mhm.
because quarterbacks always get hurt.
Mhm.
Uh, so personally, I think it'll probably be Flacco.
Okay.
He knows this offense like the back of his
Yeah.
hand. He doesn't need snaps in training camp. I mean, he's already played in it. He played,
Yeah.
uh, you know, he played 6 games in it, so he's fine with it.
Yeah.
So right now, I just want him to win, and I think it's probably going to be Flacco.
I agree, and I've said that for a while. I know there's a lot of this chatter about Pickett and seeing what we could get out of him, and
Well, if he
during.
if he comes out and looks like Sam Darnold, what are you going to do?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you there.
That's the thing.
Hmm.
By the way, another team in a cold weather climate with a brand new dome,
Yes. Yes.
competitive advantage.
Any late moves that either one of you think the Browns could still be looking at before the season starts? There was some discussion, I know, with the Pittsburgh move. I wanted to get to that here in a minute, but with tight ends and then Miami. But then Miami pulled a tight end who was retired, who I think you like, Steve, quite a bit, out of retirement to go to play in Miami.
Not really.
No, but they were talking about David
No, he wasn't one.
Njoku's name popped up, and I was like, no, he's
Of
not going
course.
anywhere.
No, he's not going anywhere. That's probably going to be one of their moves. They'll extend him.
Okay,
It'd
yeah,
be
you'd mentioned
interesting to
that.
see if they're going to extend Martin Emerson. They've already drafted Greg Newsom's replacement and Cameron Mitchell. So I don't know when cut down day or before cut down day. Andrew Berry likes to, if there's a player out there he thinks going to hit the waivers that he's not going to be able to get,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's number two on the waiver list this year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I don't know. He may make a trade, but he'll scour that
Mm-hmm.
waiver wire after cut down day on August 27th when it goes to 90 to 53. So he'll pay attention to that,
Mm-hmm.
and like he always does.
Mm-hmm.
If there's
Yeah.
somebody out there that he can snatch, he will.
Yeah.
I keep thinking wide receiver. I want to see what these guys are going to do in training camp.
You like
I want to
Thrash.
see what Tillman and Thrash can do.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson seems to be with the program. Everything I'm hearing,
Mm-hmm.
he's being a model citizen, and we'll see what happens. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they might need a third tight end. I don't know.
Okay.
Offensive line looks good. Defensive line looks good. They're going young and
Yeah.
maybe a safety, but
Our defensive
it
line
depends
was
on Kazi.
ranked. Defensive line was ranked
Fifth,
pretty high in some of these preseason rankings. Fifth. Okay.
fifth,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
fifth.
Look good. Yeah. Sam, any moves that you would expect or you'd like to see?
Um, I mean, unfortunately, you can't really expect moves. It's kind of not well. Vegas can. Vegas is amazing, and they're like, oh, Patrick Mahomes to the Indianapolis Colts, and you're like, what? And then 3 months later it happens, and you're like, oh, how'd they know?
Yeah.
But I mean, realistically, you don't know. But I think a move for an offensive or defensive tackle is always great for the
Mm-hmm.
Browns. I think just having depth I think having depth in almost any position is worth it. Um, Assuming you're getting a decent depth player, I think that's almost always worth the cost, because of how just unpredictable the NFL is and how quickly it is that your whole team can just completely change from a
Mm-hmm.
single injury. And so depth, I wouldn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't think we're gonna do very good this year. And if I hope we do, right? But if we don't do good, I'd like to have as many draft picks as possible to continue building on maybe one of these rookies.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you get a new quarterback next year if you think
Mm-hmm.
one of them is good. I think the reward of keeping your draft picks and not doing good is better than trading them for depth and maybe doing
Mm-hmm.
poorly regardless.
Okay. This conversation with the quarterbacks of 2026 really got me, rattled again or just pissed off. It's like
It's ridiculous.
Tony Grossi is, one of the guys doing that too, and it's just like, come on, man. You haven't even had training camp yet. You just drafted
You got to
two
remember.
two quarterbacks.
You got to remember last year going into the season, the number one guy was Carson Beck, and the another two guy was Quinn Ewers.
Mm-hmm.
Cam was up in Washington. He had just transferred to Miami, had a
That's a good
fifth
point.
round grade on him. So that landscape changes completely when they hit the field in college football. Nobody would have seen, everybody in Cleveland thought, well, let's draft Will Howard in the third round. No, come
It's
on,
it's
everybody.
gotten increasingly worse over the years, hasn't it? Because we're all doing podcasts and analyzing, and everybody wants to get a jump on everybody else. And like you just said, it's absolutely
No, everybody
ridiculous.
wants to be right. That's the problem. I mean, Rizzo with his spidey sense that Andrew Barry is going to pick the quarterback. That's a load of bull,
He
and he
said
knows
that.
it. Yeah, he said it this week. He says my spidey sense that Andrew Barry is making the decision on who's the starting quarterback, and it's going to be Kenny Pickett because they traded for him. Well, let me remind you what the quarterback room looked like when they traded for Kenny Pickett. It was a severely injured Deshaun Watson and DTR.
Yes.
You going to go into the new league year with that as your quarterback room? Hell no. Of course, he's going to find a quarterback to put in that room and get rid of DTR, which everybody wanted him to do in the first place. So,
Right.
and the landscape going into the season was so up and down. I mean, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers,
Yes.
Sam Darnold, who else? Russell Wilson. And then they're going to draft a quarterback at number 2. Things change. It's always a fluid situation.
Well, I
Just
like.
as your 2026 draft is
Mm.
a very fluid
Well, we want to keep
situation
everybody
right now.
focused on 2025 right now. Let's not jump ahead
Yes.
too far. Let's focus on what we're doing right now and getting ready for training camp. I like seeing the kid Shador balling the ball and throwing the ball around with his buddies down there in Miami. That it's a good, it's a good vibe.
So
I'm,
did you think he stole the helmet? Is that what you were thinking when
I'm
you saw
just
the
thinking
Browns
it
helmet?
was just funny to me. I mean, for theatrics and the video, obviously he wore it. It certainly, his outfit was very.
Well, he's currently signed with the Cleveland Browns, so I would assume he'd be wearing a Cleveland Browns helmet.
Yeah, I got it. I got you.
Okay.
I just thought it was funny. So, the other moves, Pittsburgh made some trades this week. They sent one of their guys that caused the injury to Nick Chubb, or was part of that.
Mika Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, and they brought in Jalen Ramsey, also a hothead, or uh, one of the best I know, but he's a chatterbox.
It's been a
Pittsburgh,
while since he's
if
been
you
one of
listen
the
to the
best.
folks there and Fans First and Jeff and Brian and everybody, they've said basically like their indications based on these moves are that Pittsburgh's all in, that they're going for it. Do you agree with that, Sam? We'll go with you first, Sam.
Yeah, they're so all in that they have Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback. I mean, let's. I think the funniest thing I saw about the trade is someone was commenting on a short I saw about it on YouTube, and they're like, "Yay! Now we're 8. Now instead of 8-10, we're 8-9-1." Like, I think
Right?
I think realistically, changing a single defensive back and getting a new tight end isn't going to be what makes or breaks your Super Bowl season. I think that's just not. No, maybe I'll be wrong. I mean, I don't know. But I feel like that isn't the type of move that is the one to push you over the edge, right? That's like trading for a 7th guy on your NBA bench because that's going to push you into the NBA championship. That's not really. That's like trading for a 8th guy on your baseball rotation, right? That's not
Right.
something that I feel like is going to push them into that contention status. That doesn't really feel like what I think it is. Now, of course, it might turn out that he's great and it'll all work out. But like I think realistically, it's going to be not that big of a difference. Who knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to do there. Maybe the situation was bad with the Jets. Maybe he actually still has a little bit left. Maybe he just stinks now. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, he's very old for NFL standards, and he's not Tom Brady. He can't. He's great. Don't get me wrong, but he isn't a Tom Brady type of person who can play for that kind of length and still be competitive.
Mm.
Um, I don't think it's going to make or break their season, though. I don't think getting Jalen Ramsey and a new tight end is going to be what propels them from divisional knockout to Super Bowl winner.
Okay. By the way, I just want to, Raul, I know you're commenting. You've had some interesting comments about the quarterback situation. I don't know if guys, if you can see this, I'll show one of them here. He's being kind of a funny guy. Thanks, Raul. Uh, which we've talked about, Joe Flacco. Can you guys see that? Was benched last year for Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, and I watched him because I live in an AFC South city, so
Yes.
that's what I get when the Browns aren't playing. And yeah, he looked terrible with Indy. He
Yes.
did. I even commented in our group chat how bad he looked. But that offense was weird. Let me just say weird.
Yeah.
As for
I.
the Steelers,
Mhm.
the really big show had a guy from the Pittsburgh Post Gazette. He didn't really believe that they would sign Aaron Rodgers because it's not
Mhm.
a Steeler type of guy. And he fully believes they're making they do this every year. Last year they signed Patrick Peterson. Did he
Yeah.
push him over the edge?
Yeah.
A mid-30s secondary guy. This is
Yeah.
what the Steelers do. But right
Mhm.
now their priority, and this is what this gentleman said, is to win a playoff game.
Mm.
This is really, really, really getting to the fans and to the coaching staff. It's really in
They
their
haven't
head
won one,
that they
right? I mean,
can't win 8 years. They have not won a playoff game in 8 years. And every team in the
Mhm.
AFC North has won a playoff game
and
in that
Cleveland
amount of
beat
time.
Pittsburgh in that playoff game.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is what's
Take
driving the
that,
fan base
Pittsburgh.
crazy. This is what's driving the coaching staff crazy. And this is what's causing the front office crazy. So right now they're in a desperate mood to win a playoff game. When's the
Mhm.
last time you heard that about a Pittsburgh Steelers team? And they just re-upped their GM for another 3-year extension today. So
Mm. Did not see that. Okay. Well, let's
that's what
talk
they're all
about.
about, is winning a playoff game. I mean, you look at
Yeah.
last year, they were moving right along. I mean, they had 10 wins, and all of a sudden they dropped 5
Well,
games in a row.
even the season that we beat them in the playoff game, they were rolling that season, correct?
Yeah, they had a better record. The Browns had to go there to play
Yes.
them.
Yes. We actually had to beat them
And it was
twice.
28-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about, we're talking about Pittsburgh, I know, but there was another individual this week, and I know some of you maybe caught this. Sam, I don't know if caught this story this week, but I'm writing a little article about it. It's a player that plays in the WNBA, Sophie Cunningham. Have you ever heard of her, Sam? Sophie Cunningham?
Not really. I don't follow
So
the
Sophie
NBA.
Cunningham grew up in Columbia, Missouri. I followed her career a little bit back in her college days because my daughter was playing college hoops for Buffalo at the same time. So I knew who Sophie Cunningham has been for a decade. She played at Miami or in Columbia, grew up in Columbia, Missouri, went to the University of Missouri, which is in Columbia, and was a decent college player. She then transitioned to the WNBA, where she played for the Phoenix Mercury for many years, and then more recently has been traded to the Indiana Fever, and she's kind of taken on this. She was the bully or the player that stood up for the famous Caitlin Clark because Caitlin was getting pushed around, so she's kind of become the enforcer. This Sophie Cunningham, 6'1", tall, lanky kid. But what caught everyone's attention this week, Sam, was that earlier in the week, and probably Steve, you know this story. There was the WNBA announced that the Cleveland is getting one of the new NBA WNBA expansion franchises. Cleveland's
Expansion
getting
teams.
expansion teams. Cleveland gets theirs in 2028, Detroit in 2029, and Philly in 2030. Sophie Cunningham, who's playing for the Indiana Fever, keep in mind, in Indianapolis, keep in mind, was sitting on the bench the other day being interviewed by people there in Indiana, of all places. And she was complaining about the teams going to Detroit. And she referred to Cleveland first as Cincinnati. Get your cities straight. This isn't Sam Weish. But she basically said that the players in the WNBA are not happy or wouldn't be happy because they want to go play in destination spots like Miami, Houston, KC, Nashville. And so she basically said, people don't want to go play in Detroit or Cincy, and then Cleveland. So it's gotten a lot of publicity this last week. And the fact, too, that Cleveland's getting this new franchise in 2028. This kid will be out of the WNBA in the next year or two. She may have another run in her, another 15 minutes of fame because she's trying to be all that. It's just too much. I could get into the WNBA for a while here, but we don't have time. I just wanted your takes on, if you saw the take. I don't know if you saw it, Steve, and her comments about these other towns like Nashville that you're in, Miami, Kansas City, how Cleveland stacks up to that. And I mean, so Sophie Cunningham just needs to shut up. I mean, she's 28 years old. She's gonna be 29. She's my kid's age. I get it. She's not a kid, but she's she's an adult and she just made a stupid comment that has no bearing to it. She just makes comments to just stir the pot. So that's part of her ammo is to stir the pot, I believe. So she could care less. They went out and played a playoff game or something where they got this cup the night later on that night. They won the game, and she's more interested in twerking and getting publicity for dancing on camera. So do you probably haven't heard of her, Stan, like you said, but I guess I'm more interested in, she really kind of dissed on Detroit and Cleveland. And when she brings up these other towns, should she be able to do that? And what do you think of her take on these other towns like Miami, Nashville, Kansas City as sports towns?
I mean, when you become an athlete, you sign off your right, that's the wrong word, to get to choose where you live. You live where the team wants you to live. If you get traded, that's where you go now. And that's why some NFL teams, especially when you have a family, or some NFL players, I mean, especially when you have a family and things, have two places, have a lot of troubles with being an athlete because they have to drag their kids to a new school place. They have to completely relocate. And if you're like 7 years old and your dad's like, oh, guess we're just moving to Seattle now, and all your friends from first grade, second grade, preschool, you're just gonna leave now, and it's tough for that kind of family matter. But if you're just a person, I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, that is what you do when you're an athlete. You go where the owner tells you to go, and whether that's traded. And of course, who doesn't want to go to Miami, right? Miami, LA, you've got the big cities like Vegas, you've got all these popular places. And so yes, anyone would want to go there. I mean, Houston, maybe it's Houston, it stinks. I mean, I don't know why you'd ever want to live in Houston, but I mean, other than the good places, I mean, it's and you're going to be, no, maybe not the WNBA, but you're going to be making so much money you can live in the normal place, in the higher up place of these cities either too. Like, I think it's just silly. I don't know why. I mean, it's just, you get moved wherever you get told to be
Yeah.
moved. And so that's something that you learn day one when you're an athlete. You learn.
She's sitting there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sam, she's sitting there in Indianapolis, a small Midwestern town. She plays for the Indiana Fever, and she's basically saying none of the players want to go to play in Detroit or Cleveland. And I'm thinking, you're down the road. And so it was just, I just think it's such an uneducated, stupid take from a young kid who just doesn't get it. Or if she gets it, she's just playing the evil enemy. And I said I don't want her anywhere close to Cleveland. And if she ever does come through Cleveland, I'm booing the hell out of her. And I know, maybe I'm being rude about it, but I don't like people putting down my town. So
yeah, and
Steve?
the WNBA
Yeah.
has a lot of, the word narcissist is way too big. That's not right. It's a lot of these players have a big ego, I guess. They feel entitled to something. Everyone's talking about more pay, more this, more that, and it's not, the WNBA isn't very big. I mean, if you look
It
at it,
loses
it's a
money
very
every year. They
it's a
lost
very
$40 million
small,
last
yeah,
year.
it's a very small group. And Caitlin Clark has blown up the WNBA. I mean, she single-handedly is, I mean, I've even considered watching her, and it's a important thing. But a lot of these players think they're Caitlin Clark, when in reality they're just a person. I mean, there's nothing really inherently great about them past their athletic abilities. And so I think it's just, they feel entitled to this, entitled to that, more money, more pay. They get to go where they want. And unfortunately, that's just not how their league works. And that's not how any league works. If they were a man in the regular NBA, wouldn't matter either. I mean, it's unfortunately just how athleticism and sport leagues are.
Steve, I'm guessing that you're not concerned about what a 28-year-old kid's saying about Cleveland or Detroit. Am I right?
It's a lazy take. I mean, it's like national media when they talk about the Browns. It's lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you see on social media, somebody said, "Well, why would they live there? The river catches on fire."
Right.
And I said, last time it did that, I was a kid, and
It's
I'm
like
67 now.
1959 or something.
Get over it, dude. I mean, it happened when I was like in kindergarten or first
Right.
grade.
Right.
Give me a
Right.
break. I mean, that's lazy taste. I mean, and like Sam's saying, they have no control over where they go. They get drafted by the Cleveland whatevers. They'll be grateful because they got drafted.
Yes.
They get signed and makes more money than they made with their previous team. They're going to be grateful because they're making more money and they're continuing their to play basketball.
Yes.
Now, as for you know Cleveland, let me put a comparison. People in Cleveland who live outside of the downtown,
Yes.
they go
You have a
downtown
barking dog in the
for
background, but
things.
that keep going,
Yeah,
Steve.
good. We need that. They like to people like to obviously people who live outside of Cleveland like to go downtown, right? I
Yes.
mean, it's a foodie city. The people
Yes.
like to go downtown for
Yes.
events, and if you live in Nashville, unless you work downtown, you have no damn desire to go down there.
Right.
I mean, it is nothing but honky tonks and out of town tourists who are just getting blank
Plastered.
faced
Yeah.
every night. I mean, I'm sorry if you live. I live like 10 minutes from downtown. I can go to
Yeah.
the main highway right out, which is 2 blocks from my house, and
Yeah.
I can be downtown in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Do I want to go downtown? Hell no. No, thank you. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's insane. Why would I want to do that? So if that and anyway, obviously the Nashville didn't have a good enough WNBA pitch to get a
Right.
franchise.
Right.
So
Nor did Houston. And some people were saying like Houston had one of the original franchises. They went away. They didn't go back to Houston. Some folks that follow basketball were surprised by that. The Kansas City thing, and Sophie Cunningham was talking about them, and she's from Columbia, which is just an hour and a half from the outskirts of the eastern side of Kansas City, Missouri. So I can understand that Kansas City is a great sports town. I've lived there, near there, for 25 years. Been to numerous Kansas City Chiefs and Royals games over the years. They have great fans. They have great fans, and I'm sure that
Nashville
they
is
have.
too.
Yeah.
When the Predators were in their playoff runs, I mean, downtown would be packed. If you couldn't get
Yeah.
into Bridgestone, they'd set up giant TVs on Lower
That's the hockey team
Broadway,
that they
the
used to
street.
have.
They still have.
They
It's
still
an
have. Okay.
NHL team,
Okay.
the Nashville Predators.
Yes. Okay.
And they're
I
packing
follow the NHL.
and they're packing the MLS stadium, Geodis Park, for the Nashville SC. They pack that every damn night.
Mm.
I mean, and while the Titans haven't been that great lately,
Yeah.
I'm sure when they open their stadium in 2027, it's going to be a full house. So
Yeah. Well, it'll be something. We'll find what happens down the line. It was just one of those comments where people in Cleveland, Detroit. It was interesting because even the city of Cleveland and the city of Detroit came out to say something to Sophie Cunningham publicly. To basically say, for example, Cleveland came out with a text or a tweet that basically had her teammate Caitlin Clark, when she was here in the Final Four, saying what a great town Cleveland was. And so
Right.
it's interesting too, considering all the greats like LeBron James and Donovan Mitchell now, and all the players that have come through Cleveland, to say something so stupid and lazy. Anyway, we'll move
It's
on
lazy.
from that. Yeah. Final
Good.
thing here, a couple things. We are, fireworks are tonight, tomorrow, 4th of July. Booms and busts. I wanted to get your takes on any players that you've like over the years. I'll start with, for me, a player in Cleveland
Since '99 is that what you're
99.
talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
since 1999, a boom or a
Because
bust, a
I got a
player.
bunch of busts pre 99.
So there, and we can go before 99. I guess what I always had this conversation with Baker Mayfield. I wrote an article called "Boom or Bust" on Baker Mayfield when he was still playing for Cleveland, and I consider Baker a boom. I think he was um, a a big figure, a character in Cleveland sports recent history. So I don't consider him a bust. I know we traded him and he busted his shoulder and everything, but I consider like somebody like Baker a boom. Steve, what do you got?
Boom.
Boom
Miles Garrett.
or a bust, either one.
Miles Garrett. I
Yeah,
mean, come on, hands
yeah,
down. I mean, come on. Right now, there are two defensive ends in our same division who
yes.
aren't signing because Miles Garrett got a huge contract.
Mhm.
And they're whining and crying about it.
It's a very good point.
That's boom to me. I mean, we're
Yes,
right now, one guy is strengthening our team and weakening two other teams in the
yep.
division. That's a boom. Bust, you got to go with Justin Gilbert. I mean, they didn't even talk to him. I mean, come on. You didn't even talk, you didn't even interview him, you never
Right.
visited him, and then you drafted him anyway. And prior to that, I'll go with nobody remembers Craig Powell,
Oh,
Belichick draft pick, who he was going to draft a left tackle. I can't remember who it
yeah.
was. He went to Baltimore.
Okay.
He lives here now, by the way, because he finished his career with the Titans.
Oh,
And Belichick got so mad he threw a TV and drafted Craig Powell, who never played a game.
what year would that have been? Back in the
Oh, I can't remember.
late
It
90s?
had to be. It had to be. It was prior to the move, so
Okay. Yeah,
I
92,
want to say
93.
it was probably no. It was Belichick was the coach, so
So 94?
probably 94.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one.
Brad, I can't think of the
How
guy's
about
name.
how
Brad
about
something.
a bus back in the day? We're going before
Brad
99.
Hopkins.
Andre
That's who
Rison.
was the lineman was. Brad Hopkins. He played at Michigan State.
Oh, that's
And
okay.
Baltimore, somebody jumped in front of Cleveland and took him, and Belichick got so mad he drafted a guy who never played, an obscure linebacker from Ohio State.
What about Andre Rison, the free agent whose girlfriend set his house on
Well, you're
fire?
talking about. Oh, are you including free agents?
I suppose. Yeah, I mean he was a bust, right? Big time.
Yeah, that was a desperate move because they didn't get Reggie White.
Yes. They were so close at getting Reggie White. That's from the
They
stories you
were.
read.
Gave him
Do
a
you know
fur
who we're
coat and
talking about,
everything.
Sam?
No, I do not believe I do.
Go Google Reggie
The
White.
Minister of Defense.
Oh, Reggie White. Yeah, I thought we were talking about someone else. Yeah, I know Reggie White. Yeah.
Yeah, Andre Rison too. Google Andre Rison and look up him sometime. He
Yeah.
he was a
His
silly
girlfriend
crazy
was
guy.
Lisa Left Eye Lopez, who later set his mansion on fire outside of Atlanta.
Good couple there. Sam, booms or busts since 99 or even before or since your birth?
I'm far too new to have anyone like that. That's just not me. I guess you'd say for a new gen like me, you'd say boom would probably be Baker Mayfield. I'd say he's a
Yeah.
boom. I think that would count. You could call it like a half and half if you really wanted to say that, because part of it was boom,
Yep.
part of it was bust at the end. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd say boom, but yeah, Deshaun Watson probably a bust. I mean,
Mm.
you could say Nick
Yeah, if
Chubb
we're
and
going
Miles
trades,
Garrett are
yeah,
booms.
I'll go with that too.
I think
Nick
Amari
Chubb,
Cooper.
yeah,
Amari Cooper wasn't someone we drafted, yes, but I think for his time here, I think that was a boom. I think he did
I
quite
agree.
good. I mean, Denzel Ward, I'd say probably quite good. He's had some injury
Very good.
problems, but isn't a bad. But I mean, I think I'm too new to really have a great
Who
expanse of
who
players I can.
who do you think will be a boom this upcoming season, Sam? If you could pick a
I
player,
think Mason Graham. I mean, it's the
Mm.
easy answer, but I think he
Mm.
could be great
no one's
alongside
talking
Miles
about
Garrett.
Mason Graham. I love it. Yeah.
I mean,
I did
you
on
never
my
know with
podcast.
the rookie quarterbacks. I think both of them could be good.
hmm
Kenny Pickett, he could be decent. I think Mason Graham, though. I mean, it's the obvious choice, but I think he could be really, really good alongside Miles Garrett.
Yeah.
Steve, what about
The
you? Was
Malik
there a
Collins.
boom?
Yeah, with Malik Collins next to him
hmm
and Alex Wright. Yeah, I could see
I'd like to
Quinshon
see Alex
Judkins,
Wright take
man.
off. I've always been interested in Alex Wright's background and his, he was a big into the music and band and all that stuff back in the day when he was in high school. So, very interesting guy when I've seen interviews of him. I'd like to see what he does this year.
Quinshon Judkins.
Quinshon Judkins. There you go. Yeah.
He's going to be the bell cow, and if they're going to run the ball, the offensive line is going to play a whole lot better with our new offensive line coach in charge.
Okay.
Actually, someone in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, they got better when Vrabel took over, so you could see that
Right.
the guy they had at the beginning of the season last year didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And this guy sounds like he knows what the hell he's talking about. So I could see Quinshon Judkins having a big year, or Harold Fannin.
Okay. Harold Fannin. Yeah, there's another name that we haven't really talked about very much. Do you think he's going to get some playing? I mean, will he get playing time?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. They're going back to the offense that Stefanski likes to run, two tight ends. I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Okay.
plus he can play out of the slot. He can take, be a wide receiver type guy, big body
Yeah.
wide receiver. So,
Fine. So, Steve,
Yeah.
any final thoughts on tonight's show? And Sam, anything before we leave everybody tonight? Thanks again for tuning in to our Fanatical Elves Thursday night show. I hope everybody has a great holiday. Steve, any final thoughts?
I can't wait for training camp to get here, please. Or
Yes.
for the Guardians to go on a long win streak, so we don't have to talk about nonsense about the Browns until July 17th and July 20th. I mean, come on.
Right.
Ugh. Or July
Oh my.
19th, or yeah.
I tell you, the Guardians are not helping the situation right now, losing all. They've
No, they're
lost six
not.
in a row.
No, they're not.
And now one of their better players got caught cheating today.
Yeah, you may put money on games. They're looking at two specific pitches in two individual games. That's not good. Yeah, if I'm our Guardians, I'm sellers a little bit.
You thinking? Yeah.
I mean, you can't generate an offense with a bunch of platoon guys, and
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to do. Their starting pitching's good. Their bullpen's good. Let's get some hitters in here.
Yeah. Well,
And that way they can bring up the young guys and see how they do under the pressure. Then you'll know going into the next season which one of those guys could be your next Jose Ramirez or so.
Okay, Sam, anything before we leave it tonight?
Not really. I mean, I think we hit on most of the things. So I guess we're gonna just hang out for 4th of July. And
yeah, what's your favorite 4th of July food? What do you got going on, Sam, out there?
You can't beat a good hot dog. You really can't. I mean, if you get a good hot dog, I've had
Do
some
you have a
great
particular
hot
brand
dogs.
that you like?
No, if it's grilled the right way and you just it's amazing. Easily my favorite if it's a good grilled hot dog. I'm not a bratwurst guy. I don't like the bratwurst. I'm just a straight hot dog guy. A good burger, you can't beat it. No, but
have you had you've never been here to Cleveland? You've never had the stadium mustard?
No.
That's a religious experience.
I've got a bottle in my fridge right now. I always have a bottle in my fridge.
Steve, I think I need to order you a bottle. I'm going to ship you a bottle of stadium
either
mustard.
Bertman's or Authentic Stadium.
Would you like that, Sam? For
sure. I mean, if you want to send me a bottle of mustard, I mean, I don't mind. I'll eat it.
It's a brown mustard with a little heat to it. It's got some horseradish in it.
But it's served everywhere here in Cleveland at all the sporting venues.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever. Like people here in Cleveland know if you're from Ohio, you know about stadium mustard.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
am
Well, then
a
yeah. I mean,
huge-
if you want to send me some, sure.
I think it's a kind of a thing you have to have. If you're a Cleveland fan,
you got to
you
have it
have to
once.
have it. You have to have it in your fridge. You have to tell your parents when you see them next, say, look, John's sending me something, but it's like this stadium mustard. He says it's the bomb. You're gonna love it. So
Yeah. All right.
Sam,
Yeah.
I
I'll
am
do
a
I'll
that.
get your
huge-
address when we get off the air. Sam, you got a show
I'm
coming
a
up with the
huge-
Browns?
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe on Saturday we'll
Okay.
see. It's gonna
That's
depend
fine.
on if we have anything going on.
I got you. It's kind of the dead of the season, but we are getting close to training camp coming up here in a few weeks. Steve, what were you going to say about the hot dog, the stadium?
I am just a huge fan of any tubular meat product, brats, sausage. Matter of fact, yesterday my wife is of Cuban descent, originally from Spain, and there's this online store called La Tienda,
Ah,
and she ordered some Spanish sausages and she cooked them up today. The house smells fantastic.
Spanish sausages. What's
Oh
the
yeah,
difference there?
oh yeah, man.
What do they
I
do?
even like blood sausage.
Where do you get them?
I
Where does she
mean,
get them? Like a
she orders
market, a
them.
special. Oh, she
No,
orders
no,
them.
it's from a catalog. La
Oh,
La Tienda.
so what
is
makes
what's the
them
name
so
of the company.
unique?
The flavor.
Yeah, just hot.
You know, you can get some chorizo, but you'll more than likely what you'll get is the spicy Mexican chorizo.
Yeah.
Spanish chorizo is just got more flavor and
Okay.
it's not hot.
Okay.
Oh, I love this stuff. I love any sauce. We keep brats in our freezer, hot Italian sausage. I mean, the other day she fried up some Italian sausage with some pierogies
Oh,
and peppers and onions.
a true Clevelander right there.
Oof.
There you go.
Oof.
Yeah, Clevelanders understand food. We get it. That's
Oh yeah.
and again, you go back to some silly comments from a 20-year-old, 8-year-old kid, Sophie Cunningham, who's dissing on Detroit and Cleveland. She has no
She's
idea.
probably amazed when she gets a peanut butter and jelly
Yeah.
sausage and the peanut butter is chunky.
Everybody, thank you for following along here on the Fanatical Elves Network and our show tonight. Please catch all the other shows coming up later this week. The Brown Splits coming up. Lou Marconi coming up tomorrow night. Steve Gill, you have your show coming on Sunday.
Sunday, Dog Pound South podcast. Cleveland Browns, Dog Pound South podcast.
We will be back, I believe, next week, Thursday, for another Fanatical Elves show. But until then, have a great rest of your evening. Go Browns. Happy 4th of July.
Go Browns.
Here we
Go
go,
Browns.
Brownies. Here we go. See y'all.